Hare Krishna. Today's the anniversary of Lord Nityananda's Appearance Day. And so we are going to speak about Lord Nityananda. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. I have Chaitanya Charitamrita in front of me. I have the biography of Lord Nityananda called Nityananda Charitamrita, which is everything about Lord Nityananda from the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And then I have songs about Lord Nityananda and how inspiring they are. So I'm not sure where we are going to go, but we can start with a vocation. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Beta Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Beta Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Beta Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Rukmini. I'm trying to see if I can share on the timeline, share on the group. And the description. Not sure what's happening. I'm trying to go live on Facebook, but it's not working. And I don't know why. So I will abandon that idea. It would have been a good idea, but it's not working. So I don't have permission to create live video on this group. I don't know that. Hare Krishna again. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are going to start with the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because there is a few invocation verses that help us to remember Lord Nityananda and where he's situated and who he is. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godadaye Pushpavanto Chitrosando Tamanudo. This is the second verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's Adi Lila, chapter 1, second verse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. And then I'm going to text 7. Sankar Shankaranato Yashai Darboda Shaicha Poyo Bishai Sheshachaya Shamsa Kalasa Nitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Namastu. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the subject to my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Shesha, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, an ocean of milk, are his plenary portion and the portion of his plenary portion. So that's so important. Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. And it's the first expansion that's there to serve Krishna, really. And Lord Balaram expanding to Sankarshan, and Sankarshan is an expansion of Balaram that is at the origin of the cosmic manifestation as Mahavishnu. And then at the origin of each universe is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And within the universe, in charge of the super soul in every atom is Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. And there is no difference between Lord Nityananda and Lord Balaram. Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram, and we'll discuss that later. And next, text 8. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan, in the midst of the chapter of Yuva, consisted of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. I offer my full obeisances into the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karana Dashakashayi Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. I offer my full obeisances into the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu sprout the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is a resting place of the multitude of planets. I offer my respectful obeisances into the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is the super soul of all living entities and the maintainer of all universes. Sheshanaga is further sub-part. And then we'll go to text 84, still in Adilila, chapter 1. It's just because those verses in chapter 1, they are summarizing really the content of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. 84. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. Again, they are arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance, and that's wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So that verse was repeated here. Sri Krishna and Balaram, the personalities of Godhead, who formerly appeared in Vrindavan and were millions of times more effulgent than the sun and the moon, have arisen over the eastern horizon of Godadesh, West Bengal, being compassionate for the fallen state of the world. So Krishna and Balaram appear in West Bengal 500 years ago to dissipate the darkness of the fallen soul in Kali Yoga, and they are non-different. And so Lord Nityananda is Balaram. The appearance of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda has surcharged the world with happiness. And of course, Nityananda means Nityananda is Nitya and Ananda. Nitya means eternal and Ananda means bliss. So Nitya Ananda is full of bliss. And that's why we are praying to Lord Nityananda like, yeah, please give me that spiritual bliss. We want to hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we'll see later, there is no chance to achieve the lotus feet of Radha Krishna. And yeah, So I'm going to stop here for Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Srila Prabhupada, I listened to a few of his class on the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. And interestingly, he focused a lot on a Vaishnava song called Nitai Pada Kamala, teaching is called Teaching of the Mind from Narottam Das Thakur. And before going there, there's one more verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vajendra Nandaye Sakshi Sutta Olse Balaram Oy Nitai, who was formerly the son of Nanda Maharaj. He has appeared the son of Sakshi Devi. So Lord Chaitanya is the same person as Krishna. And then, so Balaram, in the Vedic literature, it is said, Nayam Atma Bala. Balaram means strength. So Balaram have appeared as Lord Nityananda. And so we need to really understand that there is no difference between Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, and Lord Chaitanya, the son of Sachina Mata, and Lord Balaram, the son of Rohini, and of course, darling of Yashoda, and Nityananda. So I'm going to go to this purport from Nitai Pada Kamala. There's many places I could go, but that's where I will go because Srila Prabhupada insists so much on this bhajan to speak about Lord Nityananda that I'm going to read the purport he gave to that bhajan. So Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Teshaya Jagata Jurai Enotitai Benabai Radha Krishna Paitenai Tridakori Daro Nitai Pa. This is a very nice song sung by Narottam Das Thakur. He advised that Nitai Pada, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Kamala means lotus and Pada means feet, are the shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not of only one, but of millions of moons. We can just imagine the aggregate total value of the soothing shine of millions of moons. In a material world, Jagat, which is progressive towards hell, there is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like the shining of millions of moons. Juraya means relief. If one actually wants relief from the struggles of existence and actually want to extinguish the blazing fire of material pains, Narottam Das Thakur advises, please take shelter of Lord Nityananda. What will be the result of accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda? He says, Eno nitai binebai, unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Radha Krishna Paitinai, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. The aim of this Krishna consciousness movement is to enable us to approach Radha Krishna and associate with the Supreme Lord in his sublime pleasure dance. Narottam Das Thakur advises that if one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha Krishna, he must accept the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Then he said, say Sambandha Nai. Sambandha means a connection or contact. Anyone who has not contacted or relationship with Nityananda is understood to have spoiled his human birth. In any other song, or in another song also, Narottam Das says, Hari Hari Viparejanama Goa Gona Inu. Anyone does not approach Radha Krishna to the relationship with Nityananda has uselessly spoiled his life. Brita means useless. Janma means life. Ta means is, and Sambandha means relationship. Anyone who does not make a relationship with Nityananda is simply spoiling the boon of his human form of life. Why is he spoiling it? Se pashubo durachar. Se means that. Pashu means animal. And durachar means misbehave or the most misbehaved. Without elevation to Krishna consciousness, to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, life is simply spoiled in the animal propensities of sense gratification. Narottam Das said that ordinary animals can be tamed, but when a human being is animalistic, having only animal propensity, is the most horrible, for he cannot be tamed. Ordinary cats and dogs, or even a tiger can be tamed. But when a human being goes out of his way and neglects to take to the human activity of Krishna consciousness, his higher intelligence will simply be misused for animal propensity, and it is very difficult to tame him. The enactment of state laws cannot make the thief an honest man, because his heart is polluted, he cannot be tamed. Every man sees that a person who commits criminal offenses is punished by the government, and also in scriptural injunction, punishment in hell is mentioned. But despite hearing from scriptures and seeing the action of the state laws, the demoniac cannot be tamed. What are they doing? Nitana Bolo Muke. Since they do not know who Nityananda is, they never say the name of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Majilo Sansara Tsuke. Majilo means become absorbed. They become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment. They don't care who Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are, and therefore they go deep down into material existence. Vidya Kuloti Koi Beta. If one has no connection with Nityananda, and if he does not come to Krishna consciousness, his vidya or his so-called academic education and kula, birth in a high family of great nation, will not protect him. Regardless of whether one is born in a very big family or nation or has a very advanced academic education, at the time of death, nature's law will act. His will be finished and he will get another body according to that work. Why are these human animals acting in this way? Ahankare mata ay nitai pada pashariya. They have become maddened by false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten their eternal relationship with Nityananda. Asatyere satya korimani. Such a forgetful person accepts the illusory energy as factual. Asatyere refers to which is not a fact, or in other words, Maya. Maya means that which has no existence, but is temporary, illusory only. Person who has no contact with Nityananda accepts this illusory body as factual. Narottam Das Thakur say, Nitaya Koruna Abe Braje Radha Krishna Pabe. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha Krishna, you must achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda first. When he is merciful towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Daro Nitacharana Dukani. Narottam Das advises that one firmly clutch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Then again he says, Nita Sharana Satya, what should not misunderstand, and think that he has caught hold of Maya. Similarly, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda may also be something like that Maya or illusion. Therefore, now does Tam confirm, Nita Sharana Satya, the lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusory. They are a fact. Tara Seva Kanita. And one who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. If one engaging in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda in Krishna consciousness, he immediately achieves his transcendental position in the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, he advises Nitai Pada Sadakoro Asam. Always try to catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Nautam Apos Oduki, Nautam Das Thakur's Acharya is taking the position that he is very unhappy. Actually, he is representing ourselves. He said, my dear Lord, I am very unhappy. Nitai Moroko Osuki. Therefore, I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. Please keep me in the corner of your lotus feet. Hey, Casey, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Today is Lord Nityananda Appearance Day. I just read a purport from Srila Prabhupada on the song called Nitai Pada Kamala, and where Srila Prabhupada explained that Lord Nityananda is no different than Balaram, and Balaram is one who gives us strength for spiritual life. Mm-hmm. And so without approaching and without holding down to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, then we are not going to be able to receive the lotus feet and hold on to the lotus feet of Radha Krishna and be part of their pastime. And the Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada say, is all about serving Radha Krishna in their most intimate pastimes. And so only through the mercy of Lord Nityananda can one do that. And then Lord Nitya means eternal, and Ananda means blissful. Lord Nityananda is eternally blissful. And through the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we can also become blissful. So I have a lot of things here to read from, and I'm thinking I'm going to read from the story of Lord Nityananda, to learn where he's born, what he likes doing when he was a little kid, when he met his spiritual master, when he learned Lord Chaitanya, all those things. Yeah?
Yeah.
We can do that, or we can continue to read songs. What your preference? It's just you and I right now.
Yeah, I prefer the stories. I just want to show you real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
So I will read from the beginning then.
Look.
Oh, Jai, beautiful. Oh, they're so beautiful. Name deities are most beautiful.
So beautiful, right?
Name deities, they are very beautiful. Like Nityananda Ram Kijan. So you can meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, and we are going to read about his birth and his birth and childhood activity of Lord Nityananda. Yes?
Yes.
All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the ocean of mercy. This was written by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. And Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur is an incarnation of Vyasadeva. So it's really the Vyasadeva of Kali Yuga, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the ocean of mercy. All glories to Lord Nityananda, the friend of the fallen souls. All glories to Sri Advaita Acharya, whose life and soul are Sri Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda. All glories to Sri Vas and Gadadhar Prabhus. All glories to Sri Vishvambar, the beloved son of Jagannath and Sachi. All glories to all the devotees and associates of the Lord. There is a village called Ekachakra in Radhadesh in West Bengal, where the Supreme Lord Nityananda appeared. From the day of his appearance, the world of Radhadesh became all auspicious. Famine, poverty, and other distresses at once disappeared. Radhadesh is at the edge of Bangladesh. A short distance from Ekachakra, the deity of Moreshvara is present. Lord Nityananda, who is no different from Lord Balaram, has worshipped this deity. In the village of Ekachakra lived Adai Pandit. He was a qualified Brahman, very detached and full of compassion. His wife's name was Padmavati, who was very chaste and an exalted devotee. She was the mother of the universe. Both Adai Pandit and Padmavati Devi were very magnanimous. Lord Nityananda appeared in their family out of his own sweet will. On the auspicious 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magha, January, February, Lord Nityananda made his appearance. He was the eldest among the sons of Adai Pandit. Seeing his all auspicious symptoms, everyone's eyes filled with joy. In time, Lord Nityananda began to grow. Due to the influence of his illusory energy, however, no one could recognize him. Lord Nityananda concealed his real identity and happily played with his boyhood friends. So same thing with the pastime of Krishna. When Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya come, they engage in pastimes with their eternal associates. And their child pastime are really, really sweet because there is no sense that they are God. Whatever pastime he enjoyed with his childhood friends were all related to the pastime of Lord Krishna. He and his friends formed an assembly of demigods, and one of them acted as Mother Earth, praying to the rest of them. Then they led Mother Earth to the river bank, where all the children began to offer prayers. One bird hidden from the rest loudly declared, "I will soon take birth in Mathura Gokula." So then Lord Nityananda, from his very childhood, very, very young, like as soon as he was able to walk around, he enacted the pastime of Lord Krishna and Krishna's expansion. So the next few pages are about that. So I'm going to skip a little bit because...
So he wasn't born to the same, like under the same parents as Lord Chaitanya?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
Yes. Like Balaram is not the full, like Balaram also, it's not exactly the same household. But they are, they are eternally connected as Krishna and Balaram. Krishna being Swayam Rupa, being the primary Lord, the origin of all, the cause of all causes, and Balaram being the first expansion. And so, but when it comes to Lord Ramachandra, then they come under the same they are Ramachandra and Lakshman. Mm-hmm. And here they come in different households, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Lord Chaitanya did have he had a big brother, Vishvarupa. And so I'm going to continue the pastime of Lord Nityananda with his little boyfriends. One night, the Lord and his friend enacted the marriage of Vasudeva and Devaki. Another night, while everyone was sleeping, they made a jail cell enacted the birth of Lord Krishna. They made one place into Gokul. Taking baby Krishna there, he was exchanged with Mahamaya, tricking Kamsa. Another time, they dressed someone as Putana. Someone climbed on her chest to suck her breast. One day, Lord Nityananda and his friends made a sataka, or handcart, out of reeds and then broke it. Another day, the Lord and his friend stole from the house of their neighboring cowherd men. The boys never left Nityananda's to go home, but sported with him day and night. So day and night, they were sporting with him. The boys never left Nityananda to go home, but sporting with him day and night. The children's parents never complained. Rather, they affectionately embraced Nityananda. They said, "We have never seen such a transcendental sport. How does this child know so many of Krishna's pastimes?" So Lord Nityananda, he was just playing with his boyfriends, and he was directing them to enact all of Krishna's pastime, and the adults were surprised because he shouldn't know all that. But of course he knows it's his own pastime. One day the Lord made snake out of leaves and took his friends to the water. One of them jumped into the water and did not move. Later, the Lord brought him back to consciousness. Another day, the Lord and his friend went to Talavan, where they killed Denakusura, and then ate tala fruit. Of course, if we are not familiar with all those pastimes in Krishna book, then we can get familiar to understand better Lord Nityananda. Basically, all that are pastime of Lord Krishna. When Lord Krishna was present on earth, he was attacked by many different demons, and every time he kills them, like he's a superhero. So Nityananda does that with his friend. One day, they enjoyed the pastime of lifting the Govardhan hill, and another day, they created a Vrindavan where they enjoyed various sports. Once they enacted Krishna's pastime of stealing the gopis' clothes, another they enacted his meeting the wife of the Brahmanas. On one occasion, a boy dressed up with a false beard, as Narada gave Kamsa some secret news. Another day, a boy dressed as Akrura to Krishna and Balaram to Kamsa's capital. As Lord Nityananda cried in his mood of the gopi, it seems to his friends that a river was flowing from his eyes. Hello, Bhakti Yogis. I'm not sure who you are, but welcome. By the influence of Lord Vishnu's Yudhari energy, no one could recognize Lord Nityananda, and he enjoys pastime with his friends. The children arrange the city of Mathura and then wander through its streets. Someone plays the role of a gardener, while another accepted a flower garland from him. Someone dressed as Kupcha, and sandalwood place was accepted from her. They made a large bow, and all shouted in joy when it was broken. They also enacted the pastime of killing Kuvalayapida, elephants, and the wrestler Chanura Mustika. Therefore, the Lord chastised Kamsa by grabbing him by the air and throwing him on the ground. After killing Kamsa, the Lord danced and his friend in such a way that everyone watching him began to laugh. In this way, Lord Nityananda and his friend imitated the pastime of various incarnations. I'm going to skip because for most it's more pastime, but we're not focusing. We could go over all the pastime, but however, because maybe some of you are not very familiar with those pastime, it may not be as relevant. So I'm going to skip. Okay. In his early childhood, the Lord was most attractive. No one wanted him to leave his lap. Everyone had more affection for Lord Nityananda than for his own son, but none could recognize him by the influence of Lord Vishnu's illusory energy. In his childhood, Lord Nityananda had no other happiness than enjoying the pastime of Lord Krishna. All his friends left their parents to constantly sport in the company of the Lord. I offer repeated obeisances at the feet of those boys who enjoy the association of Lord Nityananda. From his childhood, Lord Nityananda had no interest other than enacting the various pastimes of Lord Krishna. Who can describe the pastime of Lord Ananta? They are only manifest to one who has received his mercy. Accepted Shri Chaitanya and Shri Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. So now we are going to, when he grew up early on, then there is Lord Nityananda traveling the holy places. It is like we can see the joy of his pastime in childhood. Everyone loves him. The parents are happy that their children are playing with him. The children are happy. They don't want to leave the sight of Lord Nityananda. Everyone is adoring him. They don't even know why they're adoring him, because he's not manifesting himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the attraction is there anyway. He's covered over by the veil of Yogamaya. And so here we continue. Lord Nityananda enjoyed his pastime at the house of Adai Pandit, his father, for some time. Later, he decided to leave home. But from fear of separation, his mother and father were unable to allow him to leave. If his mother Padmavati did not see him for a moment, she felt this more than a yuga. His father said the same, fearful of his living. Adai Pandit never goes anywhere. Whether he goes to the field for farming, or to the temple, or the market, or anywhere else, Adai Pandit repeatedly looked back at Lord Nityananda, so Lord Nityananda may not leave home. Adai Pandit embraced Lord Nityananda again and again, and the Lord's butter-soft body merged in his father's. Adai went everywhere along with Lord Nityananda. Adai Pandit's life and soul was Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda's body was Adai Pandit. So much affection. Lord Nityananda in his indwelling super soul of everyone. Knowing all this, he tried to give pleasure to his father. By providence, a beautiful looking sannyas came one day to Adai Pandit's home. Knowing the etiquette for receiving guests, he welcomed the sannyas and happily fed him. Lord Nityananda and his father spent the whole night discussing topics of Lord Krishna with the sannyasi. In the early morning, the sannyasi was about to leave. He then spoke to Adai Pandit. I have one request from you. Adai Pandit replied, please tell me whatever you desire. The sannyasi said, I wish to travel to the holy places, but I don't have a good Brahman companion. Why don't you give me your eldest son for a few days? I'll take care of him more than my own life, and at the same time, he will be able to visit all the holy places. Hearing the words of the sannyasi, the pure-hearted Brahmana Adai Pandit felt intense distress. He thought, the sannyasi has begged for my very life. At the same time, if I refuse, I will be ruined. It is well known that in the past, many pious men became glorious by offering their lives to satisfied mendicant sannyasis. Lord Ramachandra was the life of the king Dasarat. The only sage Vishwamitra asked Dasarat to give him his son. The Purana says that also King Dasarat was unable to live without Lord Ramachandra. Still, he offered him to the sage. Today, the same thing has now happened to me. Oh Krishna, please protect me from this dilemma. Same situation is here, so why shouldn't I have the same mind like Dasarat? Besides, Lakshman has appeared in my family as Nityananda. So at that time, Adai Pandit realized who his son is Lord Ramachandra's brother, Lakshman. Thinking like this, the Brahmana Adai Pandit went before his wife and explained the situation to her in details. Hearing the dilemma from her husband, the chaste Padmavati, the mother of the universe, said, my lord, do what you think is best. This is my opinion. Adai Pandit then came before the sannyas and, with his head bent down, offered his son. Taking Nityananda with him, the sannyasi departed. In this way, Lord Nityananda left home. As soon as Lord Nityananda left home, Adai Pandit fell senseless to the ground. Who can describe the lamentation and crying of Adai Pandit? Even wood and stone melted hearing such a lamentation. Adai became stunned due to devotional mellows, and people began to say that he had become a madman. He did not eat any grain for 3 months. He survived, however, only by the mercy of Lord Krishna. It is natural that, due to attachment, both Lord and his servant are unable to leave each other. This is the inconceivable nature of the Lord and the Vaishnava. So really, if we were really purified from our material contamination, then we will constantly be feeling separation from the Lord. Constantly will be like Adai Pandit, like, I don't want to eat, I don't want to sleep. And we will, also will do service. Lord Kapila, but this is inconceivable nature of the Lord and the Vaishnava. the natural attachment is servant unable to leave each other. So the Vaishnava always live with Krishna. He never separate from Krishna. Lord Kapila became indifferent and left his widow's mother Devauti. Sukadev Goswami left his Vaishnava father, who was none other than Vyasadeva. Without even looking back, Lord Chaitanya, the crest jewel among the sannyasi, was so detached that he left home, leaving his mother Sakshi Devi alone. From the spiritual point of view, such a living is never actual living. Some intelligent person will understand this. All these pastimes are meant to deliver the fallen souls. Hearing such a pastime melt even stones. If even a Muslim hears this pastime as a lamentation of Lord Ramachandra when he lost Sita, he will certainly cry. Lord Nityananda Prabhu left home wandering in the holy places by his own sweet will and ecstasy. The Lord first went to Vatreshwar, and then he went alone to Vaidyanath. From Vaidyanath, he went to Gaya, and then Kashi, the abode of Lord Shiva, where the Ganges flow toward the north. Lord Nityananda was extremely pleased by seeing the Ganges. He took bath and drank some water, yet this could not relieve his grief. In the month of Magha, January, the Lord took early morning bath at Prayag. Then he went to Mathura, his former birthplace. Lord Nityananda sported in the water in the river Yamuna at Vishram Ghat. Then he went with great curiosity to see Govardhan. He visited each and the 12 forests, beginning with Vrindavan. When he saw the house and courtyard of Nanda Maharaj at Gokul, he sat down and cried profusely. Offering his obeisances to Madan Gopal, he left his Hastinapur, the abode of the Pandavas. He left 4 Hastinapurs, the abode of Pandavas. Seeing the Pandavas' home, Lord Nityananda began to cry. The local people, due to lack of devotion, were unable to understand the Lord's sentiments. Remembering Lord Balaram's glorious activities in Hastinapur, Lord Nityananda called out, "Oh, Aladar, please save me," and then offered obeisances. Lord Nityananda then went to Dwarka, where he joyfully took baths in the ocean. He next went to Siddhapura, the place of Lord Kapila. Then he went to Matsya Tirtha, where he served Prashadam at the festival. The Lord then visited Shiva Kanchi, a neighboring Vishnu Kanchi. He smiled when he saw the follower of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva quarreling there. The Lord also visited Kurukshetra, Prituluka, Bandhu Prabhash, and Sudarsham Tirtha. He then visited the exalted holy place called Tirtha Kupa. He also went to Vilas, Brahman Tirtha, and Chakra Tirtha. The Lord visited Partyashrota, where the Sarasvati river flow in the opposite direction. The most magnanimous Lord Nityananda then went to Naimishiranya. Hare Krishna Parampara Prabhu. We are reading about the pastime of Lord. We started with reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita some Tattva about Lord Nityananda. Then we read the purpose of Nitya Pada Kamala, where Srila Prabhupada tells us again and again to hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. And without holding on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, we are not going to be capable of reaching Radha Krishna. And then we read the pastime of Lord Nityananda in his childhood. In his childhood, Lord Nityananda naturally, without even having heard before, he enacted all the pastime of Lord Krishna with his boyfriend day and night. He will not stop. And then now we are hearing about Lord Nityananda. He was young, I think he was 9 years old. He wanted to travel to the holy places of pilgrimage. And then the sannyasi came to help him by taking him away from his parents. And his parents died, not really died, but became stoned by separation. And the Lord said, the Lord and the devotees are never separated. And at the same time, enacting his pastimes, the Lord often leaves his devotees to increase their feeling of separation. So he traveled to different places. So fearless, ecstatic Lord Nityananda Prabhu traveled in this way without fear of anyone. Lord Nityananda had no control of his body due to ecstatic love of Krishna. Sometimes he cried and sometimes he laughed. Who could understand the ecstatic mood? So I skip all the different places of pilgrimage, and then now we are coming to Lord Nityananda's meeting with Shripad Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is a spiritual master of Lord Nityananda, and he's also the spiritual master of Ishwara Puri. And Ishwara Puri is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. So we can see that Lord Nityananda is a god, like in spiritual hierarchy is superior to Lord Chaitanya, and in age also is a bigger brother, and at the same time is Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna. Go figure. As Lord Nityananda traveled by the wheel of providence, he met Sri Madhavendra Puri. The body of Sri Madhavendra Puri was imbued with ecstatic love of God, and his followers shared the same sentiments. He did not relish anything other than loving sentiment for Lord Krishna, who enjoyed his pastime in the body of Madhavendra Puri. What can I say about the devotion of he who was the spiritual master of Sri Advaita Acharya? Seeing Madhavendra Puri, Lord Nityananda at once fell unconscious to the ground, stunned in ecstatic prema. Seeing Lord Nityananda, Madhavendra Puri forgot himself as well and fell unconscious. I love that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, when the devotees meet each other, they come together and they fall. they fall in ecstatic love for each other. Sri Gaurachandra had repeatedly said that Madhavendra Puri is the original root of worship in ecstatic love, and it's a very important link to our disciplic succession, Madhavendra Puri, because he is the one who introduced the worship of Radha and Krishna. So before Madhavendra Puri, there was the worship of Krishna, and there was different school and tadvas in our disciplic succession, and Madhavendra Puri is the one who introduced the worship of Radha Krishna, and that's why he said the original root of worship in ecstatic love. So that's why Lord Chaitanya says that about Madhavendra Puri. After Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri swooned, the disciple headed by Ishwara Puri began to cry. Recovering from some time, Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri embraced each other and cried. Overwhelmed by ecstatic love for Krishna, they rolled on the sand and cried out loudly. The tears of flood flowing from their eyes like rains soaked Mother Earth, making her feel gratified. Shivering, shedding tears, hair standing on end, and other ecstatic symptoms that appear endlessly on their bodies. This was because Lord Krishna personally resides in their body. By the way, we are reading from Nityananda Charitamrita. That's a book. In fact, it's a compilation from Chaitanya Bhagavat, which compile all the pastime of Lord Nityananda in one place. This was because Lord Krishna personally resides in their bodies. Lord Nityananda said, all the pilgrimage I'd done till now was now borne fruit. Today I've seen the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri. Seeing his ecstatic love of God, my life has become successful. And we remember when Lord Nityananda, he was visiting the holy places, his heart was never satisfied. He was yearning for something. Even so, he was visiting so many places of pilgrimage. And what he was yearning for is the association of his pure devotee spiritual master. Sri Madhavendra Puri embraced Lord Nityananda. I was unable to reply as his throat choked with love. Madhavendra Puri was so pleased that he was unable to release Lord Nityananda from his embrace. Ishwara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, and all the other disciples of Madhavendra Puri felt intense attachment for Lord Nityananda. They had met many sadhus, but never before seen such symptoms of prema. Feeling distress mixed with materialistic people, they wandered in the forest. Now meeting Lord Nityananda relieves their distress and arouses their Krishna prema. Lord Nityananda Prabhu traveled for a while with Madhavendra Puri, relishing Krishna Katha. The quality of Madhavendra Puri were most wonderful. He would swoon just by seeing a dark cloud. Out of love for Krishna, he laughed and cried day and night, shouting, Aya, Aya, like a drunkard. Lord Nityananda was intensely absorbed in the loving sentiments of Govinda. He laughed loudly, swaying to and fro. Madhavendra Puri's disciple constantly chanting the name of Hari, seeing their extraordinary symptom of love. The two forget whether it was day or night, and their absorption of ecstatic love. Also remaining together for a number of days, Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri felt that period as hardly a moment. Who knows all that took place between Lord Nityananda and Madhavendra Puri? Only Krishna knows. Unable to give up the company of Lord Nityananda, Madhavendra Puri constantly remained with him. Madhavendra Puri said, there is a long verse here that I'm not going to read, but I'm going to read the translation. I've never seen such ecstatic love. Wherever there is such a prema is my favorite holy place. I know Krishna has given me his mercy since giving me such a friend as Nityananda. Wherever one finds Nityananda's company is a most sacred and transcendental place. The devotee who hears the name of Nityananda will certainly attend the lotus feet of Krishna Chandra. If one has the slightest envy of Lord Nityananda, Krishna never favors him, even if he is a devotee. So I'm going to stop here when it comes to the pastime. The next pastime is a meeting of Lord Nityananda with Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. I like to end with reading the translation of a song by Lord Chandas Thakur by Lord Nityananda. And because it's a prayer, Nityananda, my treasure, it's a prayer by Lord Chandas Thakur. And we can, by hearing the prayers from the Vaishnavacharya, we can learn also to pray to Lord Nityananda. So I want to finish with a prayer to Lord Nityananda for us to learn to pray to Lord Nityananda. My Lord Nityananda, the jewel of all good quality, my Lord Nityananda, the jewel of all good quality, has brought the flood of ecstatic love of God that draws the entire world, bringing this overwhelming deluge of prema. When he returned to Bengal from Jagannath Puri on Lord Chaitanya's order, Nitya inundated the assembly of devotees. The fallen non-devotee did not drown, however, but remained floating in that ecstatic ocean. Lord Nityananda freely offered his exalted prema, which is difficult for Lord Brahma to attain, even to the fallen and wretched soul. We are not desirous of receiving it. That's amazing. That's a special mercy of Lord Nityananda, is that he gives love of God to anyone, even those who are not wanting it, like Jagannath Madai. The ocean of mercy had formerly been sealed tightly, but Nitai cut the channel and its boundary to allow the great floating wave of nectarian prema to splash from house to house. Lord Chandas said, whoever has not worshipped my Nitai or taken advantage of his excellent opportunity offered by him knowingly commits suicide. Okay, I will open up for comment, question now, if anyone would like to share. If you could, the Bhakti Yogis, if you could introduce yourself, that would be nice. I'm not sure who you are. And then is there any comment, questions about anything about Lord Nityananda, anything we read, and any desire to hear something about Lord Nityananda?
I'd like to hear about how he met Lord Chaitanya. You don't have to read it, but if you could summarize, that would be nice.
I can read it. Wait, I can read it. It's a very, very sweet. It's another situation. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and all glories to Sri Nityananda, all glories to Sri Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Sri Gaura. All glories to the Lord, who is the life and soul of Narahari and Gadadhar. Oh Lord, please glance mercifully up towards me. All glories to Sri Gauranga, along with his devotees. If one hears the topics of Lord Nityananda, he will certainly achieve pure devotional service. So by hearing today about Lord Nityananda, we are certainly going to achieve pure devotional service. The topic, so we are starting the Madhya Lila. Okay. The topic of Madhya Kanda are just like nectar. Hearing them destroy one's artistic mortality. Please behold beautiful Lord Nityananda, to your eyes full satisfaction. His personified love and affection for Lord Gauranga. Lord Nityananda's lips are filled with transcendental mellows for Lord Gauranga. Speaking in a faltering voice and unable to walk properly, Lord Nityananda resides in Vrindavan. Meanwhile, Sri Gaurachandra revealed himself in Navadvip. Lord Gauranga constantly did Sankirtan in great ecstasy. He felt distressed, however, not seeing Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda could understand the manifestation of Lord Gaurachandra. He lived in Vrindavan waiting for his auspicious moment. So Lord Chaitanya, he was constantly telling his disciple, like, when is he coming to come? When is he coming to come? He was in separation. He was waiting for Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda, he could feel that. Still, he was in Vrindavan because Lord Nityananda, even during all his pastime, he's very much in the mood of a coward boy, and he never let go of being a coward boy, like I manifested. So he wanted to be in Vrindavan, but then he's going to move. Understanding that his Lord had revealed himself, Lord Nityananda immediately went to Navadvip and stayed at the home of Nandan Acharya. Nandan Acharya was a Mahabhagavat, a pure devotee of the Lord. He saw Lord Nityananda as effulgent as the sun. Lord Nityananda was dressed as an avaduta or mendicant. He possessed an attractive body. He was always in deep sober mood. Lord Nityananda chanting the holy name of Krishna day and night. He was the abode of Lord Chaitanya's mercy within the three worlds. He often shouted loudly out of his own ecstasy, maddened with love of God. He was an incarnation of Lord Balaram. The enchanting beauty of his face defeated millions of moons. His sweet smile enlivened all the people of the world. His beautiful brilliant teeth were just like pearls, and his two broad lotus eyes increased the beauty of his face. So for those of you who have like deities of Lord Nityananda, you can meditate that way as you see the deities. It's beautiful. His hands stretched and his knees to his knee, and his chest was very wide. His lotus feet were expert in walking. Lord Nityananda spoke with everyone and burning compassion. Hearing the words from his lotus mouth completely destroyed one's bondage to fruitive activities. As Lord Nityananda arrived in Nadia, all the Redditan began to say, Jai, Jai, who is so expert to describe his glories. It is Lord Nityananda who broke the sannyas danda of Lord Gaurachandra. That's later on. It's when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, Lord Nityananda couldn't stand it because he's a coward boy. He doesn't want Lord Chaitanya to take sannyas, so he broke his danda out of anger. It is who will enliven all the foolish trader of Bengal. If anyone even chants his holy name, he will certainly be purified. Seeing Lord Nityananda, Nandan Acharya began very happy. He offered me lunch and kept him in his house. Whoever hears about Lord Nityananda's arrival in Navadvip will certainly obtain the treasure of love and devotion. So now you heard about Lord Nityananda arriving at the house of Nandan Acharya, and certainly treasure of love and devotion. Aware of Lord Nityananda's arrival in Navadvip, Sri Vishvamba became extremely happy within his heart. The Lord had, on some pretext or other, already disclosed arrival of Lord Nityananda to the Vaishnavas, but none of them could understand the meaning of his words. Lord Vishwambara that said, within a day or two, an exalted personality will come here. By providence, Lord Nityananda arrived in Navadvip the same day. Lord Vishwambara, after completing his worship of Vishnu, came and sat with the Vaishnava. The Lord said to everyone, today, I had a wonderful dream. I saw a beautiful chariot and a flag on top that came and stopped near my door. Within that chariot, there was a remarkable personality. He carried a large pillar on his shoulder and appeared restless. He had a stick tucked into his clothes and carried a pitcher in his left hand. He dressed in blue garment with a blue chadara on his chest. A wonderful earring hung on his left ear. By his feature, I asked him, is none other than Aladar Balaham. He repeatedly asked, is this the house of Nimai Pandit? So that's beautiful. And Aladar, like Lord Balaham, he have earrings and he loved jewelries. Throughout his pastime, if one wants to get the book, throughout the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Nityananda really presents himself as a coward boy, so he's always full of bangles and he loved jewelry. So as we dress the deities, we can remember that about Lord Nityananda. Lord Chaitanya continued, I have never seen such a noble and powerful personality. He was effulgent and dressed as an Avaduta or mendicant. I was severely stunned by seeing him. I asked him, who are you? He seemingly replied, I'm your brother. We will meet and know each other tomorrow. Hearing his word, my happiness increased. I consider myself as similar to that personality. Speaking like this, Lord Chaitanya fell into ecstatic trance and began to roar loudly in a mode of Aladar Balaham. The Lord demanded, bring wine. His loud voice also shatters the ears of everyone present. Then Shiva's Pandit said, please listen, O Gosai, the one that you're asking for is right here in front of you. Only those who give it to can relish it. Of course, it's not the same wine than what we put in our cups. All the devotees remained shivering at a distant place. They all thought there must be some reason behind this. The Lord decided loudly, talk aimlessly. He smiled and moved his body to and fro in the mood of Sankarshan. After a short while, the Lord returned to his normal condition. Explaining the meaning of his dream, he began absorbed in the mood of Balaham. So the wine is Varuna, because Lord Balaham, there's a famous pastime in Krishna book when Lord Balaram was drinking Varuni and he became drunk. So I think Lord Chaitanya here, as he was remembering Lord Balaram, he was imitating Lord Balaram's mood, who became drunk with Varuni. And like there is an old pastime in the Krishna book when he called on the Yamuna River, and the Yamuna River said, I don't come to you, you're drunk. And so he took his plow and brought back the Yamuna River, and the Yamuna kind of dispersed them all over in different branches in Vrindavan. The Lord said, I have a feeling in my heart that some holy personality has arrived in Navadvip. I already told all of you that we would meet him soon. Oh Haridas, oh Shrivas, go and find out who has come and where he has come from. By the order of the Lord, both pure devotee Haridas Thakur and Shrivas Pandit happily wandered and searched all over Navadvip for Lord Nityananda. While wandering, both of them told to each other, they thought Lord Shankarshan might have come here. They happily wandered the street of Navadvip, but were unable to get any news. After searching the entire Navadvip for 9 hours, they returned to Lord without success. They humbly reported to the Lord, we did not find the stranger in Navadvip. We looked in the house of sannyasis, Vaishnav, Gyanis, atheists. We saw the entire Navadvip, but did not go to village outside Navadvip. Hearing them, Sri Gaurachandra began to smile. By the process of offering the church, it shows that Lord Nityananda is most confidential. So because they couldn't find him, like Lord Nityananda is very confidential. Understand Lord Nityananda, and by understanding Lord Nityananda, we understand Radha Krishna, and we understand the whole purpose of Vaishnava Siddhanta. Lord Nityananda is a Adi Guru. He represents Guru. He's a supreme Guru. And without Guru, there is no mercy of the Lord. So, confidential. Some people glorify Lord Gaurachandra, but as soon as they hear the name of Nityananda, they get up and leave, just like if one worships Govinda but does not respect Lord Shiva. For that offense, he will surely go to the abode of Yamaraj. Similarly, this incarnation of Lord Nityananda is most confidential. Without the aspiration of Lord Chaitanya, no one can even see him. If anyone criticizing Lord Nityananda unfathomable quality, though he possesses devotion to Lord Krishna, such a devotion will be checked. Devotees aided by Srivas Pandits are fully conversant with the science of Lord Nityananda, but for some fun, they could not find him. After a while, Lord Chaitanya said with a smile, "Come with me, let's go to see him." All the devotees then joyfully went to with the Lord while chanting, "All glories to Lord Krishna." On the way, Lord Chaitanya called, "Murari, Murari, have you not seen Avaduta Nityananda?" Saying this, he began to smile. "He's now staying at Nandacharya's house. Come with me, we are going there. I'm telling you the truth." Like Lord Jesus was always saying that. "I am telling you the truth." While walking, the Lord repeatedly chanting, "Hari, Hari." The whole body shivered and his voice choked. 5 or 7 lines of tears flow from his eyes. The lustrous golden Lord was unable to walk, sometimes leaped up to 5 steps ahead like a powerful lion, sometimes looked beyond like a mad elephant. Out of ecstasy, the Lord will make a loud noise again and again, which was as grave as noise of the loud, which was as grave as the noise of the cloud. In this way, Sri Gaurachandra, along with his associate, finally reached the house of Nandanacharya. Everyone saw the jewel-like personality sitting in the house of Nandanacharya. His effulgence was equal to 1,000,000 suns. He was sitting in his own mood, deeply absorbed in ecstatic meditation. He was smiling all the time. Aware that Lord Nityananda was in a deep trance of pure devotion, Lord Vishwambara and his associate offered obeisances. Everyone stood aside with awe and reverence. No one said a word. They simply stared at him. Then Mahaprabhu Vishwambara came before Lord Nityananda, who at once understood his beloved and worshipable was present. The form of Vishwambara was as beautiful as of a Cupid. He wore an attractive dress and a flower garland. Sandalwood paste was smeared on his forehead. The luster of gold appeared most insignificant before the body of the Lord. Even the moon god anchors to see his enchanting face. The Lord's teeth resemble a set of pearls, and seeing his attractive hair, one becomes unconscious. Seeing his 2 broad pink eyes, one wonders, are there any more lotus flowers? His 2 long hands stretched down to his knees. A fine thin Brahmin thread beautified his broad chest. His forehead was wonderfully decorated with mark of tilak, and his body looked enchanting, even without any ornament. His fingernail defied the beauty of millions of jewels. His attractive smile is nectar. Lord Vishwambara stood before Lord Nityananda, who at once recognized the Lord of his heart. Lord Nityananda, out of joy, was stunned. He stared at Lord Vishwambara without blinking his eyes. He desired to lick Vishwambara with his tongue and drink his beauty to his eyes. Nityananda's desire to embrace Vishwambara with his hand and smelling with his nose. Lord Nityananda simply became stunned. Everyone was so astonished that he did not speak or move. Lord Gauranga, the life and soul of everyone, beheld the situation and began to invent ways to reveal Lord Nityananda. With a gesture, Lord instructing Srivas to recite a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Understanding the Lord's intention, Srivas responding at once, reciting the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying Krishna's attractive form. Wearing a peacock feather ornament upon his head, blue kanikara flower on his ears, a yellow garment as brilliant as gold, and a Vaijayanti garland, Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental form as the greatest of dancers as he enters the forest of Vrindavan, beautifying it with the mark of his footprint. He fills the holes and of his flute and the nectar of his lip, and the cowherd boys sang his glory. Hearing this verse, Lord Nityananda fell on the ground unconscious again. He falls on the ground unconscious. Out of great ecstasy, Lord Nityananda remained inert as Lord Gauranga told Srivas to continue. Awaking after a short while, Lord Nityananda began to cry. Repeatedly hearing the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Nityananda became maddened. He roared like a lion, and the song shook the universe. He jumped in the air so forcefully that everyone thought all his bones would break to pieces. What to speak of others, even the Vaishnava became afraid. They all prayed, "Oh Krishna, please save us. Oh Krishna, please save us." Lord Nityananda rolled on the ground and his whole body became wet with tears. Seeing the attractive form of Lord Vishvambara, Lord Nityananda breathed heavily. Sometimes he would laugh loudly, and sometimes he felt great happiness within his heart. Sometimes he danced, sometimes he clapped his hand, and sometimes he jumped forcefully. So I'm going to stop here because it's getting late, and I want to give some space. Anyone have anything to share? Any question, comments, inspiration?
Well, I can introduce myself. I don't
Okay.
have. I'm Shruti. Sorry, this is a shared account, so it just says Bhakti Yogis, but I'm Shruti. I'm one of Casey's friends.
Hi, Krishna Shruti. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Met you once in Denver.
Yeah, we did. We met. Thank you so much for the class and the reading. It's beautiful to hear on Lord Nityananda's appearance day.
Yes, Lord Nityananda give us so much happiness. We can feel it. I can feel it, and you can feel it. We can feel it just by hearing about Lord Nityananda. Our heart become happy with no reason, and that's Nanda. That's a bliss. That's our soul bliss. The bliss that's of no material reason. Thank you for sharing, Shruti.
Thank you.
You are with us. Anybody else like to share?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Prabhu.
I have sort of thoughts, but perhaps it could be a question that maybe could be interesting to share about. Is when I think about I was kind of thinking about Lord Nityananda, and also just witnessing how other devotees kind of glorify Lord Nityananda or just appreciate Lord Nityananda. Like, he seems very cool. As I said that, like he's very cool. He's very like trendy, you know, like he's like
He's an
something.
Avaduta.
He's Avaduta, yeah. So he's just like, you know, he's attractive in that way. And then, so I was thinking about that, and just thinking about personalities and worshiping personalities. And in Krishna consciousness, we worship personalities. So these are these persons that have a distinct personality, sometimes a wild personality or a very colorful personality, or, you know, something like that. And then like Lord Nityananda. But then I think about God and kind of like my experience of God and worshiping God. And at least in my experience, like worshiping God is something different than worshiping these like very colorful spiritual personalities. And I notice in my experience sometimes when I'm reaching out to God, I need the help, or or I'm thanking God, or whatever it may be. You know, like it's a different kind of conception for me than like Lord Nityananda. You know, it's like it's a different conception. I'm not like, and that's my personal experience. Or maybe other people are just like, oh, thank you, Lord Nityananda, for giving me this, or really calling on Lord Nityananda. So I'm just noticing that's where I'm at, and I kind of have this. Maybe it's not necessarily impersonal aspect of God. It probably is, but more so it's like a generic, God the Father or whatever that is. Reach, God the Father kind of conception, and then like these worshiping these personalities feels different. And so maybe just if you could maybe share about that, like how I guess I want to understand it better. Like I don't know. It's not really a question, but I just.
Well, Christian, you're sharing yourself, and God is generic. The word God is generic. God, and Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishwara, Krishna, is enjoying with gopis in the spiritual world. And he comes on earth to have the replica of his pastimes. And, the Vaishnava Siddhanta is to more and more develop attraction for those personalities, more and more develop attraction for those personalities. And in a sense, we can do that from our conditioned state by hearing about them, connecting with them. And at the same time, that attraction may not fully develop until we are free from our material conditioning. And then our material conditioning kind of lead us to approach the Lord in that impersonal feature, in our material conditioning, from our material conditioning, and to, usually to help us with our material conditioning. And the Lord expand unlimitedly in this Vishnu form and in a material world, as we heard earlier. Shankarshan is an expansion of Balaram. Lord Nityananda is Shankarshan. We expand into Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashi Vishnu, Kshirodakashi Vishnu, and an unlimited amount of expansion of the Lord that are carrying different aspects of the Lord, different, they all have at least, 86 to 96% of the qualitatively they are Vishnu Tattva. And I do believe that there are certain places, Srila Prabhupada explained, like the Lord is manifesting according to the art of the Vaishnava and the devotee. So yes, the Lord is expanding himself, and when we worship God through our misery in the material world, then it's we are not worshiping Krishna as a coward boy. We are not even worshiping Lord Nityananda. And at the same time, Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they came to deliver the most fallen. So as we meditate on those, then that impersonalist aspect of Krishna is purified, and that purification doesn't go through the need of our conditioning to be, to be our focus. It's just direct, like we just read for 1 hour about Lord Nityananda, and absorbing our mind in that personality with his jewelry and his wildness, his avaduta, is breaking the danda for Lord Chaitanya, is so magnanimous. They are the first Sankirtan devotee, he and Haridas Thakur. They were sent by Lord Chaitanya. Go and knock on everybody's door and tell them to chant Hare Krishna and worship Krishna. And so they were the first Sankirtan devotees too. So by us absorbing ourselves in the pastime of those personalities, then we get purified naturally. Our heart gets purified and we get absorbed, our mind gets absorbed there. However, when we are alone with our mind, going back to the conditioning of absorbing itself, not in Lord Chaitanya, not in Lord Nityananda, not in the pastime of Krishna, then we approach God in an impersonal way. Yeah. all the Krishna explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita that is expansion in a material world is mainly impersonal until we come to really create that connection with the personalities. And that's what we do when we do the reading, when we speak about those personalities, when we read Krishna book, then we directly connect with them. Did I give some more food for thought?
Yeah. I think I'm realizing. Yeah, just yes, you did. Thank you.
And there is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he said, "Other than the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, there is no shelter." So we want to learn about those personalities, focus our mind on those personalities to a point that we are so attracted that we know there's a shelter. And we do that through the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is a representative of Lord Nityananda. So taking shelter of Prabhupada, in a sense, taking shelter as Prabhupada is a person also. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're in contact with Srila Prabhupada. Of course, he gives us Shastra, but he's also a full person with a full personality. And learning to love that personality and interact with that personality is an entrance to Lord Nityananda. Yeah. And Casey, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I was listening to a lecture on Lord Nityananda where from Sachinanda Maharaj, and he was saying that there's 6 different ways that Krishna gives mercy. But if we don't believe that if we believe we're too fallen, or we don't believe that we're worthy of that mercy, then we won't get that mercy. And if we do believe, that like the Lord is so merciful, like causeless mercy, that we will receive that mercy, then that's real for us too. Then that will happen. And so my question is like how, because I feel like I mostly believe, but there's still doubt. And so like how do you just like switch it and believe, how do we do that?
Yeah. So you mostly believe that, that you could receive the mercy. The most important step is to see that you have received the mercy.
Mm.
You have received the mercy. Look around. People who are going to work every day, who eat meat, who fight, who drink alcohol, who think the goal of life is to make money or having sex, how miserable they have. They have their lives. So the first step is gratitude and see like, oh, I'm so fallen, I'm so wretched. Still, Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, you gave me so much mercy that now I see differently. I see my life differently. You gave me so much mercy that I get to chant your holy name and free my mind from all the anxiety. You gave me so much mercy that I can see layers and layers of sinful reaction that have flew away. It's in the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada explained that as soon as we chant the holy name, there is like millions of birds, like all those sinful reaction, like millions of flocks of birds that are flying out of us every time we chant the holy name. So you are the object of Lord Nityananda's mercy. You didn't ask for it. And Lord Nityananda's special mercy is that he even gives mercy to those who don't ask for it. But you are the recipient of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Lord Nityananda's mercy, Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And by starting there, then it's easier to know, oh, yes, I am already, instead of when will I be? And when will I be is also helpful. Both are helpful. But if I'm denying what already the mercy I'm receiving, and now I'm not deserving it. I don't deserve any of the mercy. I don't deserve the life I have. I don't deserve to be so happy. I don't deserve to know Lord Nityananda. I don't deserve to know Srila Prabhupada. This is all mercy. And then, of course, the Lord is going to continue to bestow his mercy upon me. And then I can still anchor for his mercy too. When will there be mine? Like Bhakti, you know, Thakur, he said, when will that there be mine? When will I receive the mercy? So all of that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Lord Nityananda Rama ki jai. Pada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
A beautiful day celebrating Lord Nityananda, and just by remember Lord Nityananda, just by saying his word, the name Nityananda, we become happy. Hare Krishna.
Nityananda.
Nityananda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.